So we're going to talk about education. Today's going to be all about education. We're going to talk about why Bitcoin went down, even though we talked about it Friday. Matter of fact, everything that happened over the weekend, we predicted. You know how? Not because we know anything. We don't have a glass ball. No, we know two things. One, Bitcoin was breaking out of its typical behavior and starting to move up. It seemed very likely, very logical, based on inflows and outflows from exchanges. Basically, currency units coming into exchanges, Bitcoin leaving exchanges, that the price was going to go up. So if you go back through the video on Friday, you'll see that we said, and I just say, none of this is based on whimsy or speculation. It's all very common sense that the price was going to go over 60K, and it did. And we also said, pay attention to the funding rates. Pay attention to the funding rates. If you don't, you won't understand when people get over their skis, they get over leveraged and they get nuked. It happens a lot. Oh no. Bam. That was weird. I got kicked out of the room. I got kicked out of my own room on Clubhouse. That's harsh. That's so harsh. Anyway, so we're going to talk about all these things and more. We're going to talk about education, but one of the things that's going to happen at this investor boot camp, which we're going to do one every single month. And essentially it's going to be like a year-long crypto education, like crypto university, since none of the garbage they teach at any of these universities will make you any money at all. And you guys are already investing so much of your time. It makes sense that you would invest your time in ways that maybe are a little bit more structured. So we'll just say that. Let me say hello to everyone. Let me say hello to Scorpzion, Girl Pilot, Biotech Breakout, SGO Theta TV, Nefers, Lupino, WVS 2014, McNabb, Joe Pirate, Frank, CC Brown, all of you guys over on Theta. Theta's doing awesome, by the way. That token's kicking butt. Let me say hello to everyone over on the HooTubes. We have Jimmy James, Girl Pilot, again, Lewis Hall. What up, Lewis? We have, guess what day it is? Monday. Scott, Tom, Pete Kelly, JJ, Brady, Biotech Breakout, again, Hits NDC, Scott Hill, Michael Murphy, across the pond, Ryan. What up, Ryan? John, let me say, the McLaren is wet. Lewis, the McLaren is freaking wet. Ugh, God. We're actually dumping one of the McLarens and either getting an Artura or we're getting another Lambo, an Evo, V10. It's the same thing as the R10. Candace, what up, Candace? What's going on? Patsy, hello. Al, what up, Al? Megatonks, what's going on? Troublemaker J, what up? Okay, and then let me say hello. Obviously, let me thank Antonio for always kind of being there for me and helping out. Antonio's a beast, and he is someone that you can definitely tell his like grinding his way through the space. And we've all learned a bunch of hard lessons. And if you talk to Antonio for more than 10 minutes, you're going to learn two things. One, go read the Bitcoin white paper. It's the penultimate original document, right? It's the legend. It's the origin story. It's like Iron Man 1. None of the stuff that Tony Stark does makes any sense. You won't appreciate it if you haven't seen Iron Man. Yeah, it's cool, all the other stuff, but you won't get it. You need the original, right? Godfather 2, Godfather 1. Godfather 2, probably better than Godfather 1, but only if you've seen Godfather 1 in that 17-hour long movie. Christ on his cross, that movie's long. Anyway, Fish and Magician, hello. So let me say hello to Antonio. Good morning to you, sir. Pete, Kimmy, our trader. Myron, Dwight. What up, Dwight? Rona, Sade, Ryan, Daria, Chelsea, Shantae, Mano, Michaela. You know what I like? Our group has a really good, we are legit diverse. It ain't a white dude group. It ain't a black woman group. It ain't an Asian Siamese twin group. It is, we have diversity. We have male-female diversity. We probably even have some multiple pronoun diversity. There's probably some theys in there. I don't know. I don't even know how to define that. We have women, we have men, we have every ethnicity. You know what? This is not legacy finance, because legacy finance, you won't find diversity. And that's part of the reason legacy finance is broken a little bit. Anyway, Beach Girl, hello. Belinda, hello. Ocean Dawn, hello. Hi, 8125. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Good morning. Jimmy James. Joe Fernandez. Let me also say hello to Ivan. Let me continue and say hello to Lori, Aldo, JD, David, Christian, Cutter, Cassandra, Akram, Charles, Corbin, of course, Corbin, Brad, Matilda, if I pronounce that right, Kasim, Audrey, Sashwat. Oh, I like that. And Justin. Okay, great. So I think we've basically given our buenos dias to toda la gente aquí, todo el mundo. Bueno, I think Bitcoin's getting slashed this whole week. I don't, Lewis. I don't, because most of the slashing happened over about a 45-minute period. Sniper Princess, what's going on? How much will the boot camp help those of us New York residents with our hands tied? Well, it'll help you a lot, because you still need to educate yourself. You still need to know your way around exchanges. You still need to know your way in and out of trades. You need to understand the options market. You need to understand altcoins and how to look at a chart. You need to understand what you're looking at when you're looking at supply. You need to understand how to evaluate these assets. There's a bunch of just basic core knowledge that everybody needs so that you have a teachable, repeatable system. The cluster, what up? Okay. And so to that, I'm going to roll these little opening graphic thingies. Then we're going to come back. We're going to talk about education. We're going to go through prices. I'm going to explain to you what happened again, because we talked about it Friday, what was going to happen. Mark, what up? We know what was going to happen. When the funding rate gets over 10 basis points, S gets real. And we'll be right back real soon. Yeah, biotech breakout, TVK. So he said TVK is on a tear. TVK is on a tear. A lot of these, and we'll get to it, a lot of these kind of surface level protocol layer NFT plays, that's how you, listen, that's how you play these spaces where you know things are going a little bit crazy. You know markets are getting heated up. You don't care about a bubble if that's what this is. And I don't particularly think this is a bubble. I think it's probably going to be a little blow off top, and then it's going to continue to melt outward. But you don't care about a bubble if you're buying protocol layers. Okay. This gets back into kind of basic education. And where does education start? Before I even talk to you about prices, there's a couple of places where education starts. One, if you're looking at any of these assets, any of them, okay, you need to understand the basic tenets of critical thinking. This has got to be your framework for all thinking. Okay. And what does that mean? You say, oh, critical thinking. I'm very critical when I think. This girl asked me what the dress looked like, and I said, it looked awful. I'm very critical. No, that's not it. It might, well, it could be it. Depends on your relationship. But that's not what I mean. Critical thinking skills we all need. Analysis, communication, open-mindedness, problem solving, and creativity. Why do you think the people at the Fed suck? They're good at analysis. They have all their econometric models, right? They are good at communicating. They communicate with the whole world. Open-mindedness, that's kind of a problem. That's something that maybe they don't get. They kind of are mired in their old models. Problem solving, I would give them a yes on problem solving, because based on their own models, they problem solve based on bad data. Creativity lacking. So they're lacking open-mindedness and creativity. The whole thing falls. The whole thing falls. You need all of it, right? So again, analysis, communication, open-mindedness, right? And in that open-mindedness part, That's where your cognitive biases start coming into play. Problem solving and creativity. Okay, great. So now that we understand that, we must talk about cognitive bias. So what is cognitive bias? These are the tendencies to think in certain ways that lead us to systematic deviations. That's what you should think of. Cognitive bias lead us to systematic deviations from a standard of rationality or sound judgment. Why do we make the decisions that we make? All the little underpinnings, the way we grew up, our influences. You know, if grandpa was a super racist and Uncle Jed was a kind of racist, guess what? You probably have some racist tendencies, even though you probably don't want to admit that, woven in underneath, right? You have to dig all of that stuff to the surface, and you have to face it. Otherwise, you will continue to make the same systematic deviations, right? And if you're making deviations from the most rational judgments possible, you're going to be making mistakes on a regular basis. The cool thing about this is everybody can fix this. Everybody. You don't need a $290 an hour psychologist. You don't need a book called The Secret. You know what The Secret is? You read the back cover of The Secret. You cut out a picture of the shit that you want, and you put it on the wall in front of you. Why? Because then you start focusing on it. And if you focus on it, you're going to do all the little things in your life that put you on the path to achieving that, right? Or you won't, and you realize the whole thing is fruitless. But again, cognitive bias. If you unearth those biases that we all share, then you can see them and you go, oh, this is making me think in a way that's not rational and it's not sound. That way you can clean up the critical thinking part, which is problem solving and open-mindedness, right? It's important. Okay. You need to understand basic game theory and then game theory as far as economics. So we'll do game theory first, and then we'll do game theory as it applies to economics. Game theory is the study of mathematical models of strategic interaction between rational decision makers. Rational, that's key, rational decision makers. It has applications in all fields of social science, as well as logic and computer science, and I would add economics, obviously economics, right? Game theory is not like, I was playing Call of Duty and I went around the outside tape line. No, that's not game theory. But you could use game theory to study the reasons why you're making maybe flawed decisions inside an interaction, right? So it's the study of mathematical models of strategic interaction between rational decision makers. It has applications in all fields of science, as well as logic and computer science. How it applies to economics, assumptions in game theory. In economics, there's the assumption of rationality and maximalization, okay? It's assumed that players within a game, investors, right, are rational and strive to maximize their payoffs in the game. It's unlikely, not impossible, but it's unlikely that people are coming into the market to purposefully lose money. That's not rational. That would be irrational. Okay? So when you see behavior in the market, it doesn't mean that they're using good, that they're looking at their cognitive bias, that they're critical thinkers, but everybody in the market, all of those people competing against you, are trying to maximize their payoffs, right? They may not know the tools to do that. They may not know how to express the trading ideas they have. They may not know how to elicit the responses they want, but they are trying to maximize their payoffs. Every idiot, and I just say idiot doesn't mean someone that has a low IQ. It means someone that doesn't have all of the information. I'm sure every one of us, me included, if we look around this space, there are things that we are idiots about, that we don't have enough information, and yet we're throwing currency units at it, okay? That makes us, in that situation, irrational, right? It makes us irrational players. We want to win, right? Do you guys remember the South Park episode where there was the little, it was the underwear gnomes, the sock gnomes, any of these little gnomes that were stealing clothes. I think it was sock gnomes. And there was like 3 steps. Like step 1, steal the socks. Then there was step 2. Then step 3 was profit. And they were like, what's step 2? They're like, listen to what we're saying. Step 1, steal the socks. Step 2, step 3, profit. There's a whole lot in step 2 that needs to probably be clarified, right? So anyway, I feel like there are a lot of these these kind of missing steps in people's logic, missing steps in people's decision-making process, in your game theory, in your kind of progression towards creating models of these strategic interactions between all the different market participants, right? So that you can make logical decisions and you can maximize your own payoffs. And yes, I'm droning on because this stuff it's sinking in a little bit, but it's not sinking in enough. This is the most important. This is more important than the job you currently do. Why? Because if you ever want to break free from the job that you currently do, and a lot of people have wonderful jobs, and I applaud that. But if you want to break free, because we only have so many minutes in our life, so many breaths in each minute, you're trading your minutes. Think about this for a second. We're going to get not spiritual, but philosophical. Think about this. You have how many breaths in a minute? I don't know. I look at my Apple Watch, it'll tell me. You're trading those breaths because they equal minutes, which equal hours, which equal usable days. We know there's a limit on these. Even if you think science is going to make things great, you know, that we're going to live to 150, which we probably will. But even then, you still have a limit. There's still currently a limit on how far you can go. So if that limit exists, you're trading away your life right now. Why? So that you can finally achieve some bliss when you're too old to appreciate it? Like you work so hard right now to trade away all of your time. And then what? So you can be 90, be rolling around in a wheelchair, blowing bubbles to turn left and talk about how you squandered your youth chasing currency units like a fucking gnome, like a lemming, because that's the system. So you just have to decide, do I want to maximize my excess time, right? Your excess time right now, those extra breaths at the end of the day, right? Or those little moments during the day where you're not actually working, you have to monetize that time. Monetize your time. And if you do that, you monetize it with education. You educate yourself. Faudy Rebecca, what's going on? Red Tree Tops, what's going on? M. Sivan, what's going on? You have to monetize your time. And you have to monetize it towards education. And then you start building your residual income, your investment income. That's residual, right? You invest in something, it's making money. You're not having to continue to add new breaths to it. The breath time now, those moments that you're trading away, trade them for education, trade them to understand how these markets work, trade them to build your residual income. The income that comes in that you don't have to trade breaths for. Because as that pile of residual income gets bigger, eventually it's bigger than the actual income. When it gets twice as big as the actual income, you have to decide, is it worth it to trade those moments of your life, those breaths that you know are finite, right? Is there a point where you stop giving those moments away and you start turning them inward toward yourself? You say, I'm not going to sell my moments anymore. I'm not going to sell my breaths. They're mine. Fuck you. I'm going to use them to I'm going to build out the rest of my life. And then I'm not going to just enjoy my life when I'm 100 or 130 or 90 or whatever the number is, 20 years from now when stem cells and little nanobots are crawling through our bodies. I can't wait. But anyway, you have to decide when it makes sense. And the only way you're going to do this, you can't have luck. Another thing you can't do, you can't just leverage other people. If you are just leveraging someone else, what happens when they go away? What happens when who knows? Some unfortunate thing occurs. Leroy and I talk to a lot of people. What happens if Leroy and I just quit? What happens if Friday we go, yeah, you know what? Fuck all you guys. We're out. We're done. We have enough money. I mean, it's not a dick measuring contest, but we have enough money. We can be done. We just choose not to. We have bigger goals and bigger ambitions, but you don't know that, right? What if we rug pull education? Gone, all gone, like CZ's, like his social credit, like any trust and believability in that douchebag. But you see what I'm saying? You guys, you guys and gals and theys, the pronouns, I have to include the pronouns. I actually lost a job. I lost a writing job because I italicized the word they in an email. And I was referring to someone who said, refer to me as a they. No shit. This actually happened. And this guy was like, I'm not going to work with you. Oh, okay. Don't italicize the word they in Hollywood. You will get bounced right on out. I got 30 pilot scripts. Dude won't even look at them now. Okay. So we understand game theory. We understand cognitive bias. Our basic tenets of economics are the key points. 1, focus on the long range, the long run, and all of the groups involved, not just the people in front of you. Economics and economies, right, of scale can be subjected to vested interests. And 3, long-run effects are more complicated than short-run effects. The example I give for this is weather systems, right? It's kind of a known thing that in weather systems, there's only predictability between 5 and 7 days, not any further than that, because there are so many particle interactions that happen in clouds and that happen in weather systems that right now, our ability to judge and manage and evaluate those particle interactions is lacking. So we can't predict the weather out past 4 or 5 days. So what does that mean for the crypto space? Well, all of these inputs, all of these little things, these are all interactions. These are all particle interactions. So another way to look at this is if you are brilliant at the basics, and what I mean by that is you understand how to look at these companies and evaluate them at a basic level with your critical thinking skills, right? And the easy way to look at it would be problem, what are they trying to solve, the team, the technology, the tokenomics, the timing, the technology space that they're in. You could even add industry similars, comparables, things like that. That's kind of a quick way to look at a company or an asset. These assets are managed by companies for the most part. Or if you want to go a little bit deeper, cash, value, direction, price, liquidity, and any meat left on the bone. What does that mean? Cash. Does the company or project have runway? Does it have sufficient cash to continue to do what they want to do? Value. Why are they here? Why do they exist? Why token? Direction. Is the management team something you can trust? Is it Gavin Wood? We don't know. Is it Charles Hoskinson? We hope so. Is it Bread Garlic House and Chris Grand Larceny? Mm-hmm. Is it Jed McCaleb? Not sure. Right? There's a lot of questions. Is it Dan Larimer? You see? These personalities make a difference. They're important. You can have a great project. It can get decimated by a scumbag. Look how we thought CZ, Changping Zhao, the guy, the man, the myth, the legend at Binance was this shining beacon in the darkness. Compare him to freaking Brian Armstrong over at Coinbase. You're like, Brian Armstrong's a scummy, marginally racist douchebag. Yeah. CZ, he's awesome, man. Your funds are SAFU. Everything will be fine. Then we come to find out, as we peel back the layers of the onion, this guy's a piece of shit. Oh, they're all pieces of shit. That's the thing. Humans in general are kind of shitty. It's okay. You know what? If I ran a gazillion-dollar company, there's probably things that I would do that you guys would go, man, that Nick, he's turned into a real douchebag. And you might be right. Maybe I'm not cut of that cloth. You don't know. But it's important to be aware that the management team or the social icon or the whoever, the Steve Jobs, right? It's important. Okay. It's not, you can't ignore it. The price. Okay. And I'll also say this, when you look at the value and the direction of the management team, also look at the community. Go take a look on Twitter, make sure they have a big following. Go find out, Gavin Belson. Go make sure that there is a vibrant community and they're not a bunch of douchebags, jerks, and they're not mean-spirited, because the community will tell you a lot. If it's a bad community, if it's a scummy community that you don't want to be a part of, there's a good chance that that project is going to follow that same path. Okay, price. All right. Is its price valued or undervalued? Okay, we have to go with valued or undervalued. The price is always right. The price is the price. Vimps, what up? The cluster, what up? The price is always the price. Constantino, what's going on, buddy? Bracula, what up? Spirella, what's going on? The price is always right, but you might see value or overvalue or undervalue in there, and other people might be missing it. All of these prices are forward-looking, meaning that when you buy something, you're assuming it's going up. Now, the only ancillary to that, an opposite ancillary, is when you borrow something to sell it because you want to buy it back cheaper because you're shorting it. And that is natural and that is healthy. So don't get on the side where you go, oh, people that short are evil, but people that buy are good. That does not make any sense. That's not logical. You need both sides of a market. All right. And the more that you are brilliant at the basics and you understand the basic gears that turn these markets, you need to understand the legacy financial market, and then you'll understand the digital market a lot better. Right? You need to know the tools that are available in markets to provide constant liquidity and provide places for people to escape. If nobody's selling, how are you going to buy something? If there's no one there buying, how are you going to get out? Right? That comes to our question of liquidity. Can I enter and exit the position? These assets need to have sufficient liquidity, or you can have something that's worth a fortune that you can't sell. And that's no good either. That's not going to help you. And finally, is there any meat left on the bone? Is this a company or an asset where all of the industry similars, all of the comparable companies are valued at around 3 billion to 4 billion market cap? And this one is already at 3 billion. So you got to ask yourself, is there any meat left on the bone? Is there any space left for this sucker to run? Or has it kind of burnt most of its candle? So is there any money left in it for you? Is there any of a trade left for you to be a part of? So think about these things. And if you get to the end of this video and you forget, you go, what the F did that dude just say? I don't remember any of that stuff. Cool. Push replay. Play it while you're driving. Or, well, actually, to be honest with you, I recommend don't listen to any music at all or anything when you're driving. I think so many people seem to be getting crushed lately in auto accidents. I don't think you want those extra inputs impairing your judgment. And none of us are actual real multitaskers. If you're paying attention to music, especially words and things like that, you're not paying as much attention to the road. So just kind of public warning, don't listen to music and shit while you drive. Just drive, get where you're going, and then turn it back on. Anyway, there. Whew, that was good. I think I just saved a life. We'll never know because you won't be dead. The only way, anyway. Okay, so is there any meat left on the bone? Can you get in and out of this asset? What is the team like? Do they have enough runway to continue trying to do what they're going to do? And is it over or undervalued in your opinion? Okay, great. That's important. So now we understand how to look at these assets in a basic level. Now we can start making some value propositions to ourselves. You don't need to make these arguments to anybody except yourself. It's kind of interesting. I'll use Kimmy as an example. Kimmy's in our clubhouse group. She's an active trader, probably more active than most. She's trading on a variety of information, a bunch of different data points. But she can tell you why she likes stuff and why she doesn't. You have to be able to explain to yourself why you're moving in and out of these assets. You need to explain to yourself why you own what you own and at what position sizes and what limits and when you're going to escape the trade or exit or skim some profit back off into stable coins or Bitcoin or whatever you want to do, right? You are the only one that needs to be able to explain that to you. You don't need to be able to explain it to your wife, to your mom, to your boyfriend, girlfriend, or they friend. Do we have a pronoun ambiguous thing? Like if your girlfriend or boyfriend becomes a they, well, the implications of that are really dramatic. I don't want to get into it. Okay. So let me go and make sure that I haven't skipped anybody's joining us. Let me see. I think I said hi. Bitcoin Candy, Sunil, what's going on? Getting money. JJ, what up? Sylvia. Dave, what's up, Dave? How are you and Ash doing? I hope you guys are doing great. Hits NDC. Bill, what's up, Bill? Michael, what's going on, Michael? JJ, yes, I think I got everybody. Okay, cool. Baykeeper, what's going on? Bertolac, JR80. Who did I miss? Dazan, what's going on? I know I didn't pronounce your name right, but I just got the first part of it because that's the part that made sense. Faudy, Rebecca. Bamboo, Dwight. I think I got everybody. Crypto Gamer 420. Megatonks. Okay. So for anybody that I have ignored, I certainly didn't mean to. And I'm just a rude person in general. So let's just move forward. Okay. Let's talk Bitcoin. And when we talk Bitcoin, this is going to be different because I'm going to focus mostly on the corn right now. And I'm going to go to 3 articles. These are 3 things we literally talked about this on Friday. Literally. Michael, real quick, let me, quick cut. Michael asks, any word on Raging Bull that you know of? As far as I understand, Raging Bull is still on pause. Something else is coming, very similar, which I can't speak of. But if you can imagine that which you used to see, but way better, that is what is coming, if that makes sense. I know it's ambiguous. I can't say anymore. Okay, but I will be able to talk to you about this I think in the next 2 weeks, I'll be able to talk to you guys about this. Okay, Moonwalker, what's going on? And Dell, what up, Dell? Okay, so let's talk Bitcoin. On Friday, Bitcoin was pushing 57, high 57s. And don't worry, Lewis, when we get to Cardano, I'm definitely going to do some kind of assumptions. I think, just real quick, I think it's going to be a big month for Cardano in the second half. Well, we're on the 15th. Guess what? We're in the second half. I think most of the smart money is done selling Cardano. I know I'm done selling Cardano. I'm becoming a net buyer. We'll get to it, but not just yet. Let us proceed. Ты понимаешь? Да. Okay, another federal indictment. Joe, I see what you're doing there, buddy, and I like it. All right. We talked on Friday that Bitcoin was pushing, and we thought it was going to break that 58,300. That was the line in the sand. That was the old high. But here's the problem. When the futures markets close, that's the price that Bitcoin is pegged at. So it closed and Bitcoin was high 56s, low 57s. We'll call it 57 flat. Okay. And then throughout the weekend, it bullied its way higher. It barreled through 61,000, came back down to 59, went back to 61 and change. But what does that create? That creates a gap between the closing of the futures and the opening on Monday. Because remember, these future exchanges they peg off of basically a 24-hour price fixing that happens during the week trading days. And then they pivot off that. However, when there's a gap, it always meets that gap one way or the other. Sometimes it gaps up, sometimes it gaps down. How do you know? Well, mostly because of the funding rate. When the funding rates go up, okay, and that is the price it takes either the longs or the short to stay in the position, this funding rate is charged implied against those accounts every 8 hours. And we talked about this. We had a whole video almost about this. And I'm not the only one that talks about this. Obviously, it's very easy to look up. When the funding rate gets over 10 basis points, between 10 and 15 basis points, just remember that. When the funding rate on the long or the short side gets over 10 to 15 basis points, it's going to correct, because that means people have taken on too much leverage, and you have to service that. Every 8 hours, money disappears from your account, which puts you closer and closer and closer to getting a margin call, closer and closer to being liquidated, to being insolvent. Yes? We understand this. This is the basics. Okay, so please keep that in mind moving forward, and none of you will be surprised when this stuff happens. None of you. Okay? All right. So, as we move forward with Bitcoin, let me take you to an article. And we're going to talk about first. Everybody's always, I want to know why. Why did it happen? Well, not much actually happened. It went from 57 on Friday to 61. And now it's in retrace. That's only $4,000. And then it retraced like it always does when the funding rate gets out of control, because people take on too much leverage at Binance, at Bitfinex, at BitMEX, and on all these other sketch-ass non-real exchanges. Okay? And they get nuked. They get their faces melted because they take on leverage. Don't take on leverage. And if you do, then you better understand this shit better than me. And I don't take on leverage because I realize I'm in over my skis when it comes to big leverage in the futures markets. Is there money to be made? Yeah, for 6 people. Is there money to be lost? Yeah, for everyone else. Let's talk about it. 3 reasons Bitcoin fell in 6 hours. This is 6 hours, you guys. 6 hours from now could be completely different. My guess is it isn't, because every time you have one of these liquidity, these kind of, I won't say catastrophic, because 4%, 5%, 6% is nothing in crypto. But every time you have one of these unwinds of leverage, a leverage unwind, and you have these cascading liquidations, usually last for a day or two. Okay. So here are 3 reasons, 3 of the many reasons Bitcoin fell 6% in 4 hours. Is the BTC price rally at risk? Bitcoin fell 6% in 4 hours. 4 hours, 6%, 4 hours. Due to a combination, that's 240 minutes. It's not like a lot. All right. Due to a combination of negative on-chain and technical factors. The price of Bitcoin abruptly fell by nearly 6% in less than 4 hours as the new weekly candle opened on March 15th. What is that, you say? Yes, as the futures markets opened back up and there was a disparity, a gap, and people had too much leverage. 3 factors contributed to the weakening momentum of Bitcoin. I like how they say weakening, even though it's basically the same price it was Friday within like $500. Okay. 3 factors contributed to the weakening momentum of Bitcoin, namely a new weekly open, high funding rates, and stablecoin inflows, particularly driving the market upward. New weekly candle and a reset pullback. When a new weekly candle opens, here, let me do that so you can see it. When a new weekly candle opens, Bitcoin typically sees large volatility because the trend on Monday could dictate how Bitcoin performs throughout the rest of the week. I'm not sure I agree with that, but the new candle did open because the market's open. Okay. And there was a big gap between where it closed on Friday. In the last few hours, the anonymous trader Rect Capital noted Bitcoin saw an overextended pullback. As a result, the trader said Bitcoin could be in the process of seeing a volatile reset. BTC has been pulled backwards toward the red area and even overextending below it. For now, the day is still young, so prices could still resolve itself. Price could still resolve itself relative to this red boxed area and turn into support. Wow, there's a lot going on there. Technically, BTC is in the process of a volatile retest. Okay, you guys know that I'm not a big believer in chart following because it doesn't backtest at all. But a lot of people do believe in charts, and I'm trading against those people. So the psychology of technical analysis is important to understand. It is what I refer to as necessary but not sufficient. It's necessary to understand it, but is not sufficient to trade with it. There's not enough detail, there's not enough data, and there's not enough history in the crypto space for any technical analysis to be sufficient. You will get your clock cleaned on a regular basis. Period. Okay. If Bitcoin fails to rebound from the 55,000 area, the trader warned that a steep correction to 46,700 support level becomes a possibility. You guys realize we were only at 46,700 like last week, right? Like early in the week. So, kind of who cares? We're talking about 1 week. Oh my God, we're going to reset all the way back to 7 or 8 days ago. It's going to be chaos in the streets. Cats and dogs sleeping together. Ugh. Even when the price of Bitcoin began to drop, the futures market funding rate was hovering above 10 basis points across major exchanges. Here we go. Here we go. Futures market overheated. This indicates that the overwhelming majority of the market was going long or buying Bitcoin, not just buying Bitcoin, they were going long with leverage. Leverage. You know what you can do on Binance? You can get 125x leverage. Are you fucking kidding me? Nobody should have that kind of power. And CZ, you're a dick for even allowing people. He's basically turned Binance into a casino, and he gets what he fucking deserves. That guy gets his face melted or he gets thrown in some Chinese prison. Fucking good riddance, dude. He went from being one of the greatest dudes in crypto to being an absolute piece of shit. He gets what he gets. Don't feel sorry for that motherfucker, not for 1 second. Okay. There, that was my rant. It was a short one. It was a short rant. It bothers me so much because I was a huge supporter of CZ, like publicly. I always knew Brian Armstrong was just a gas wad, but I thought CZ was better than that. And then this whole DeFi thing turned him into an absolute piece of crap. And he gets everything he gets. And I would 100%, oh God, I would decimate that dude. And if we ever get a chance to be on a stage together, like an actual stage, I'm going to unwind that motherfucker in front of everybody. Anyway, let's move on. According to data from Bybit, BYBT, 19, I digress. 194,541 traders. Jesus Christ. 194,000 traders were liquidated in the past 24 hours for a total of roughly $1.83 billion, the highest liquidation since February 21st. Well, since 3 weeks ago. The futures market saw cascading liquidations. There's that word again, that word pairing, cascading liquidations, as the market was extremely overheated. This wave of liquidations eventually led Bitcoin to drop below 57,000. Keep in mind right now it's 56.5. It's not like the end of the world. Boo-hoo, right? However, the wave of liquidations, those cascading liquidations, eventually let Bitcoin drop below 57,000, which Cointelegraph Markets analyst, but I'm not even going to read the guy's name because he's so wrong on so many. He's so wrong so often. I'm not going to give him credit. However, his statement, Bitcoin barely holding at this critical level here, needed for upwards continuation. Otherwise, price drops back into the range. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's never known what he's talking about. So it's frustrating when they put these guys in there that like their track record is less than 30%, meaning if you flip a coin, you are almost twice as accurate as this guy. And his last name is Poop. So whatever, right? Like you get what you get. All right. large exchange deposits and stablecoin inflows. This is kind of interesting. Before the drop occurred, this is also what happened 3 weeks ago. You guys remember there was a bunch of Bitcoin that showed up on Gemini? Might it be important to look at different currencies that show up on Gemini all of a sudden overnight? Like when a bunch of Bitcoin shows up at Gemini, it's there to be sold. They're not moving it from cold storage because they just like making transactions because it's that much fun. When Bitcoin shows up on Gemini, it's getting sold. When the funding rate is over 10 basis points, people are over leveraged. Cascading liquidations are coming. When both of these things happen in a 4-hour period, then effing obviously you know what's coming. None of this stuff is magic. It's obvious. And you know why it's obvious? Just homework. Just do some homework. When you do a little bit of homework, life gets a lot easier. And then you don't panic. And then you trade around these moments. And then you make money while everybody else is crying. Right? And that feels really good. It feels really good to watch your portfolio and your clients' portfolios go up in a weekend where everybody else is getting melted and liquidated. Before the drop occurred, on-chain data analytics platform CryptoQuant pointed out large BTC deposits into Gemini. Gemini is a leading Bitcoin exchange in the United States. I wouldn't say that. In the United States, alongside Coinbase, and is often regarded as a whale exchange. I do agree to that. A lot of their buddies trade on there, and their buddy have big Bitcoin. Hell, the twins themselves have big Bitcoin. They have over 100,000 each, I think. They doing all right. Don't lose sleep for those guys. This 18,000 BTC deposit. Now let me show you an interesting comparable. Do you guys remember last March, the 12th? Black, what was it? Tuesday, Thursday, whatever the fuck they called it. And everybody's like, it's crashing because the stock market's crashing, all this kind of stuff. No, it's crashing because a bunch of people that stole a bunch of Bitcoin in a Ponzi scheme started selling. It was a little over 12,000 Bitcoin. They sold 12,000 Bitcoin and it started to gut the market. Okay. You notice what happens 1 year and 2 days later. 1 year and 2 days later, 18,000 Bitcoin shows up at Gemini. The funding rate is high. Duh. Anybody who's surprised surprises me. You should not be surprised. This stuff repeats itself on a pretty regular basis. Okay. The 18,000 BTC deposit is legit, and it was a transaction between user deposit wallets and Gemini hot wallet, meaning we're going to sell. All exchanges inflow mean is skyrocketed due to this deposit. They're talking about mean is in the average. So the exchange inflow average skyrockets up due to this one 18,000 Bitcoin deposit. Don't over leverage if you're in a long position. When you go into these weekends and the funding rate is high, de-leverage, protect yourself, or buy some puts, or get some short protection in there, get some insurance. I'm not telling you what you should do with your currency units. You want to trade with leverage? Get on out there. Give it a go. But protect yourself. Don't be naked. What is that Warren Buffett said? You only see who's swimming naked when the tide rolls out. And what is it that George Soros says? And of course, I'm going to butcher this, but essentially, it's not whether you're right or whether you're wrong. It's how much money you make when you're right and how much you lose when you're wrong. Okay? In addition to the selling pressure from whales, the recent Bitcoin rally being led by stablecoin inflows into exchanges was another bear sign. Okay? So what does this mean? When people start bringing a bunch of USDT and things like that into the exchange, these guys consider that a bearish sign. You noted that the rally was catalyzed by sideline capital held in stablecoins rather than institutions in the United States. So what he's saying is this was a rally led by the people, and people are fickle. Institutional money is typically taking that same Bitcoin and they're not intending on trading it. They're intending on putting it into cold storage. So if you see a bunch of sideline stable coins rush in and buy Bitcoin, it's a bunch of, their theory is it's a bunch of flighty hand investors like, I'm getting in on it. But the same people that panic into a trade will panic out of a trade. And that's essentially what they're saying. So that is not stablecoin money and currency on the sidelines of exchanges from retail and traders and retail investors is not as solid, durable, resilient as institutional inflows where they are buying Bitcoin, putting it on balance sheets and pulling that stuff off of the internet and pulling it out of exchanges. That makes sense. Okay. So that's what they're talking about. So when you hear stablecoin inflows, you should, in your mind, you think, okay, that's mostly retail money. That's money that was on the exchange. They're just kind of floating around. It's opportunistic buys. And a good portion of that, as we know, at least 1.8 billion of that were people that were over leveraged and they were long. And they don't understand how you can get punished on weekends. Why anyone would take on leverage over a weekend boggles my mind. Why they would hold it boggles my mind even more. There's only 2 warning signs. There's 2 warning signs. That's all you need to know to unwind your leverage. A, the funding rate gets above 10 basis points. B, big, fat ass, multi-thousand Bitcoin deposits start showing up on exchanges. There's only one reason people move big, giant piles of crypto to an exchange. It's to sell it or to scare you into think they're going to sell it. Either way, the effect is basically the same. Coinbase Premium Index was always significantly high when Bitcoin price was breaking 20K, 30K, 40K, and 50K. It was significantly negative when the price was breaking 60K. This 60K bull run is not US institution driven. It all came from stable coins. So I'm hoping that makes sense to everybody. Yep. Okay. There. So we've got that. Let me touch upon Article B, over 2 billion. So it's over 2 billion now as they're doing the math. Over 2 billion in futures liquidated as crypto market dips. We get that. I just read about it, but here are the basics. Over 2 billion of crypto were liquidated over the past 12 hours. So the first big chunk of the liquidations occurred in the first 4 hours. And then you have those follow-on effects of cascading liquidations, right? Okay. And then of course, all of the other assets, most of the other assets, they drop similar. Okay. Let's see. At press time, Bitcoin was trading about 56,231, down 6% on the day from highs of 60,700 in the last 24 hours. Still isn't that much, man. It's like just over $4,000. We're talking about Bitcoin, where Bitcoin has had days where it's dropped 38%. Literally days, one day, a single day. In 2017, there were 7 big sell-offs. 3 of those 7 sell-offs were 38%. I don't know why that's a number, but 38%. I know the chart readers will go, Fibonacci retracements. No, not Fibonacci retracements. Because 4 of the other days were like 28, 22, 30, and 30. 30 is not a Fibonacci number. 23 is not right. It's only is when it is, right? Whatever. But point being, there were 7 times when Bitcoin sold off between about 23 and 38%. In a freaking day. So is a $4,000, is a 6% sell-off even a sell-off? Dude, I'm not even going to fucking yawn. 6%? Dude, you got to get me 20% to even get me interested. To even have me come into the market and try to scalp, you got to show me at least 25%. Give me something. Because this right here isn't even enough to build up my options premiums on the puts. You can't even, that's like talking about taint tickling. It's not even the taint or the tickle. It's neither. Come on, man. 6%. Fucking get out of bed for 6%. People. But it's a big deal if you just got nuked. Bitcoin and Ethereum have lost billions in their market capitalizations over the past record-breaking weekend, with the global market cap of all cryptocurrencies slipping from 1.82 trillion over the weekend to 1.71 trillion today, a decline of roughly 1.2 billion. That is dust. Ladies and gentlemen, and pronouns, ladies and gentlemen and pronouns, 1.2 billion is nothing. It's a yawn. It is a fucking yawn in these markets. It means nothing. It means the people that should have gotten their faces melted, and I know that's nobody in these groups because you guys are smarter. You're smarter than that. People that lack bits and pieces of the crypto education that we all need to survive got over their skis because they got greedy and gambly, and they thought, I'm going to make some easy money. No, dummy. There's no easy money, right? There's a lot of tough research, and then you win. If you're not willing to do the research, if you're just buying off of what you hear people say, you're not going to win. You're going to get punished. And you're going to get punished over and over and over, and you're not going to know why. And when you win, you'll think you're good. And when the things that you're investing in go down, you'll go, I don't understand. Yeah, you don't understand. That's the problem. You need to understand. Goes back to research. Do your research. Why do you think that certain people, look at these hedge fund managers, they come and go. Hedge funds blow up all the time. They get nuked all the time. But what are the funds that continue? The Jeffrey Gunlocks, the Stanley Druckenmillers, the Paul Tudor Jones. Go down the list of really confident fund managers that have been here for years, 20 years, 30 years, 35 years. Say, how do these old codgers make it? Oh, they cheat. It's a scam, crony capitalism, all this stuff. No. For the most part, these hedge funds, most of the real funds, they're not participating in this sketchy ass behavior. They don't naked short. Most of them are not doing this kind of bull crap that you saw a few weeks ago, the whole Wall Street bets thing. Most of them are actually using good behavior. They're shorting within limits. They're shorting with actual assets they borrow. They're not naked. They're market participants, legitimate market participants. They're doing research and they're acting on that research. And they have good fundamentals and they understand game theory and the basics of economics. And they understand their own cognitive bias. And that's why they're still here, right? There's a reason, like him or hate him, why Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger are still here, right? Because they are rigid in their systems, and their systems are teachable and repeatable and auditable, and they do a lot of research, and they get really good at a very narrow range of things, and they maximize their payoffs for that range of things, right? I'm really good at the options market. That's my narrow thing. Right now, I can apply options markets against most any asset, but that's my narrow range of things. Leroy is really good at finding diamonds in the rough and doing the fundamental analysis against that. That's his thing. He's good at it, right? Everybody here needs to get good at a thing. You need to find your lane, something that you get better than your peers, so that when the bear comes to the campsite, you don't have to outrun the bear. You look and everybody is a fat kid except for you. You're thin and fit and you have wonderful running shoes because you've educated yourself, right? Even if it's in a niche, a very narrow range, you've educated yourself. So only people that were stupid over the weekend got punished. Straight up, you were stupid because everybody understands, or at least everybody that's in this market should understand the gears that turn these futures markets. If you take on leverage, there is a risk. You can't take on 125x leverage and expect there to be no associated risk. That is silly. That is flawed thinking. Let's go through prices really quick. Okay. Bitcoin is 56,717. It's gone up since we talked. It's down a whopping 5.3%. Chaos. It's up 10.9% on the week. 20% on the 30-day, 961 flipping percent on the year. Pretty freaking good. Ethereum, yes, it dipped a little bit, 4.5%. Okay, Bitcoin dipped, everything dips. It is what it is. It's up 2% on the week, down 2% on the month. It's still up 1,300% on the year. Pretty dang good. Cardano is down on the day, 4.2%, still faring better than Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's down 8.5% on the week. It's up 14% on the month. It's up 3,700% on the year. So yeah, it's still doing okay. And I would not bet against Cardano now moving forward. Could it sell off beneath $1? Yes. Do I think its value should be less than $1? Oh yeah, I think it's way overvalued, but it's priced right. Do I think it's going up? Yes. because Charles is going to get out his bullhorn and he's going to start doing AMAs. They're going to start talking about Africa. Everybody's going to get excited. My guess is, based on my little blue piece of paper from downtown LA urinal, is that Cardano is over some point in March in the next 2 weeks. And again, piece of paper I found in a urinal. We're going to be over $1.50. There, you heard it. Polkadot. Polkadot's down 5% on the day, up 1.6 on the week, up 21% on the month, up, Jesus, 1500% probably on the year. Gavin and his crew are not making it very clear about this parachain offering, and until they do, I'm uncomfortable. If they give us some fucking clarity, then I could know whether to invest or whether to maybe sideline some of my gains. I just don't know yet. I don't think anybody does. And what's worse is I don't think anybody at Polkadot knows. So that's frustrating. XRP, stay away from it. Just stay away from it. Let him get out of court trouble. We're not going to go into the whole thing. I did think it was funny that Chris Grand Larceny and Bread Garlic Mouth, they didn't want to divulge their personal financial records. They said, that's not part of this. Wait a minute. The cases that you guys illegally sold against the community $1.3 billion worth of XRP, and then you turned around and boldface lied to the community about it. Why the community is so supportive of these guys? I don't know. Why the community is okay with this? I don't know. Why the community wants the SEC to drop this case? I don't know. Why the SEC, didn't go after them for fraud? I do know. Fraud will be a little bit harder because you have to prove intent. I don't think they can prove intent. Therefore, this is a step down, but I guarantee you, if they felt like they could prove intent, they would be going after both Chris and Brad directly for fraud and market manipulation, but they're not. And maybe they make it out of this. They got a lot of money. I think it's funny they don't want to divulge their personal finances. Oh, it's not relative. It's absolutely important and relative. You committed a fucking financial crime, you fucking scumbags. Of course we want to know what you did with the money. These fucking dudes, man. I will headbutt Brad right in the nose. That guy's such a piece of shit. It sucks too because Chris is a guy that I really respected. He's built some badass businesses. Brad is just a piece of shit. But Chris was actually a decent dude until he stole 9.5 billion XRP. You guys know he did that, right? He doesn't even deny it. He and Jeb. Jeb McCaleb agreed to give it back. Chris did not. That's it. That's the story. There's nothing any more interesting in it. He stole it. He and Jeb McCaleb stole 19 billion XRP from the investors. They didn't get permission to do it. They just did it. They're like, well, why not? No one's going to stop us. And guess what? No one stopped them. XLM. It's in the same boat as XRP. Maybe useless. Why do I say this? I don't say it to make you go and sell anything. I'm sure XLM will make some money. I'm sure XLM will go up as the whole markets bloat. And these assets will appreciate. Because I don't like them doesn't mean they're not going to go up in value, right? I'm sure at some point we'll see a $1 XLM. Probably XRP gets through this and we see a $2 or $3 XRP. It's very likely, okay? But right now, where do you want to have your currency units resting? Do you want to have them stuck in court with the SEC or in lumens that just seems to be mired in who caredness? What is that? It's just like, who cares? These are bridge assets. It's an old argument. You're selling meteor insurance to the dinosaurs. Hey guys, that ship has sailed. Theta's kicking butt. Theta is $7. It's the best performer of the year as far as the things that we're tracking. It is down 5% on the day, but that's the Bitcoin trade. It's up 44% last week, up 109% in the last 30 days, and it's up almost 11,000%. 11,000%. It's kicking the butts. So, yeah, Theta's working. I don't know what to tell you. Theta's working. VeChain, look at that. VeChain is almost 7.7 cents. Why? There's a lot of VeChain news coming this week. VeChain 2.0 and all this kind of stuff. My guess is VeChain catches a pretty hefty bid. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it over 10 cents in the 10 to 12 cent range by the end of the week. That would not surprise me at all. VeChain's going to move. Love it, hate it, like it, leave it, marry it, divorce it, spit on it, whatever gets you off. VeChain probably, not advice, but VeChain probably has some tailwind this week. It's up 17, almost 18% on the day. And the day where a lot of stuff is red, it's up 18%, 23% on the week, 47% on the month, almost 3,000% on the year. That's not nothing. Cosmos, it's just flirting with $20. It's up 7% on the day, 5% on the week. It's down a little bit on the month, but it's up 931%, almost a 10x on the year. Protocol layer, baby. Let's talk about Engine. This mofo here can't be stopped. Engine is at $2.91. It's up 27% on the day. It's up 77% on the week. It's up 400% on the month. Yes, 400% on the month. It's up a 54x, 5.4 thousand % on the year. Engine, everyone. Engine, everyone. It's that 1.5 layer. It's not a surface level. It's not a protocol layer NFT play. But it's right in the middle. It's a lot like the way I look at Graph Token. It sits in between layer 1 and layer 2. And there's value to that. It's picks and shovels play. I would not be one to bet against Engine Token right now. My guess is there's enough tailwind to carry this bad boy into the $5 range. We'll see. It won't be a straight line, but I don't think there's much getting in the way of this sucker. I think this $4 or $5 billion market cap's that's not stupid to think about. Graph Token. Graph Token has kind of flattened out recently. It's flat to down on the day. It's at $1.74. It's down 1% on the day, down 6% on the week. It's down 26% on the month. It is up about an 8x though over the last 6 months. So there is value there. When will it move? It's a 1.5 play. It's going to do nothing and then it's going to do everything. So don't get discouraged if you've made some good gains in it. Don't get discouraged from taking some gains to the sideline or parking them somewhere else. Let's talk about TVK. We started talking about TVK last week. A little birdie, a friend of ours, close friend of mine, he said he was in Dubai and he took a look and it looked interesting and he was excited about it. Ergo, we are excited about it. So at about 71 cents, we started looking at it. I told you guys, nobody is to buy this until Monday so that I could buy it. And I did. Now it can go up. It's up 24% on the day. It's up 82, 83% on the week. It's up 476% on the month. We don't have a yearly yet because it's not yearly. This is protocol layer, NFT exposure. And unlike Flow, which is the next one, that has some pretty good partnerships, I would call the NBA, the UFC, pretty good partnerships, but the licensing is a little bit sketchy. TVK has all the licensing. Pay attention. Flow, it's another NFT protocol layer play. Tiny market cap. Look at these market caps, you guys. 812 million. We're still in the millions on Flow. Come on. You guys got to open your eyes. It's $34. It's been in this range for quite a while. It's down 5% on the day, as is Bitcoin. It's up 3% on the week. It's up 144% on the 30-day. We don't have metrics on the year yet. It's too new. Pay attention. 1 inch, $4.12. It finally broke above 4 again. It's been on kind of a downward path, flat to downward. It's up 5% on the day, bucking the trend. It's down 2.5% on the week. It's down 24% on the month, but that's because it had a huge meteoric rise. I think it got close to $6-7, something like that. It looked a lot like near. We're going to get to near in just a second. IOST, still flat, down 4% of the day, down 4% of the week. So it's basically not doing anything on the weekly, but on the monthly, it's up 20%. And on the yearly, it's up 1,400%. That's not terrible. We'll see. Chinese Ethereum, lots of partnerships. But again, they need to use it. Tiny market cap, dude. Look at that market. Look at 1 inch's market cap. If you just do market cap analysis, and I know that's not sufficient, but if you just do market cap analysis, holy crap. Go from TBK all the way down. TBK can probably have a 5 billion market cap. So there's a 3 to 4x left in it. Flow can easily have a 5 to 10 billion market cap. Easy. Dude, this is a protocol. This is an NFT protocol layer. This could have a $20 billion market cap. There could be a 30x left in this thing. Yeah, that's right. This could be an $800, $900, or $1,000 asset. Yes, it is possible. It is all possible. NFTs aren't going away. They're just going to change. They're broad in their scope. They're not going to just disappear. 1 inch, 590. Are you kidding me? Look at all the other swap platforms. Look how good 1 inch is. Look how good the staking is. I'm not telling you to do any of these things. I'm just telling you, pay attention. These numbers tell you there's meat on the bone, right? We're looking at, is there any meat on the bone? Yes. Dear God, yes. It seems to be flirting with $3. It always goes down to like 375 and up to 420 and then down. It's flirting, but at some point it won't flirt. And when it goes, when it rockets, and I believe it will rocket, it's going to be ridiculous. My guess is 20x. Okay. IOST, where can this thing go? Who knows? But it's probably due for $1-2 billion market cap. It's probably good for anywhere from a 2 to a 4x. Near $6.28. It's a 200. Listen, put your fucking pencils down for a second and listen. It's a $200 million market cap. Right beneath it, audio, 185. Are you fucking kidding me? This is a protocol, you guys. This is a protocol layer. Better than Ethereum. Yeah, I said it. Better than Ethereum. It's already done all the things Ethereum wants to do with all of their scaling and all of their EIPs and all of their fucking everything. Near has already done it. Dude, it's already done it. It's a $200 million market cap. In my opinion, my humble opinion, that means nothing, off my piece of blue paper from a downtown LA urinal toilet that has the word DILF scraped into the, see? Near, to me, it's probably a $30 token. And that's just a starting point. My guess is 3-5 years from now, this is a $300 to $500 token. That's just a guess. We'll see. I am adding to Near. I think $6 is cheap, real cheap. I think probably $10, $15 to $20 is cheap for Near. So I will continue to dollar cost average, me personally, up to $20. Boop, 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 boop. I also like the staking. Audio, do your research. I'm not telling you to do any of these things. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. And I have a lot of McLarens. It's $1.50. It's up 6% on the day, 66% on the month, 269%. Sorry, 269% on the month, 66% a week. We don't even know what the yearly is. It's too new. It's $185 million market cap. They are decentralized competition to Spotify. Can you think of anybody else? Not really. I can't. It's under a 200 million market cap. You don't think this thing at least touches $1 billion? Come on, dude. There's a 5x if there's nothing left in it. This is a $7.50 to $10 token if nothing else goes right for these guys. And what do you think happens when the next celebrity or the next famous DJ or the next singer or whatever, or the next band releases a track directly to audience? Boop, boop, boop. What do you think people are going to be meme tokening about? What do you think people are going to be talking about on TikTok, on Satoshi Street Bets? Audio, 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 audio. Come on, peeps. Get in front of the 8 ball. Okay. Yeah, Vito is on a run too. The gas tokens are on a run. How do I get flow? Good question. Anybody that wants flow, go take a look at gate.io. It's a great exchange. You can set up an account as an American. Most of you can. Depending on where you live, you'll have different levels of access. But gate.io is lovely. Okay. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. I'm going to have you guys get your day started because it's a fantastic day. It's gross and raining here. Gross and raining. And that's LA. But you know what? It won't be gross and raining forever. For those of you in Clubhouse, we're just getting the party started. Please come join us. For those of you on Theta, thank you so much. I'm glad you guys hang out with us. It's a lot of fun. Let me say hello to Mepper. Crypto Coin Collect. What's going on? Good to see you. Yeah. BP brother, also good to see you. Did I miss anybody? Chris Can, good to see you. Cabeza de Termo, Club ADD, good to see all of you. Tommy Bernard, what's up, Tommy? Compic, what's going on? Alberto, ¿qué estás haciendo? And Wino Contreras, what's going on? One of my good buddies is a Contreras from Texas. Stress relief, what up? Okay, let's roll out. The party will be getting started on Clubhouse. The party is winding down on live TV. I apologize. But now we go to the radio type. Don't do anything my poor insolvent drunk strung out on meth grandmother wouldn't do. And she's simple today. She's just crushing up Advil and mixing it with Coke. She calls it Coke free. I don't even know what that means. But have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.